Good evening, everyone. An idea. An idea is something a lot of people talk about. They say an idea is the most resilient parasite. And once an idea has taken hold of the brain, it's impossible to eradicate it. And that idea has the power to transform the entire world. There have been many great thinkers whose revolutionary ideas have changed the way we do things and the way we look at the things. One such great thinker was Barrister Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But before I tell you about his idea of universal peace and brotherhood, I would like to tell you about another idea, the idea of smile. They say, when you smile, you perceive more, your reception power becomes stronger. And that is why I want all of you to be receptive, and thus I request you all to smile. Please. Thank you. Under our obvious nationalistic sentiments, we may believe that Gandhi stood for the freedom of our country, when, in reality, he stood for the freedom of humanity, for the rights of humanity, and for the love of humanity. Let's go back in time. Let's travel in a time machine from 21st century to the 20th century. Let's go to the years 1989, 1990, 1991. Can anyone tell me what is the significance of these 3 years in our lives? Anyone?
We were born there.
Exactly. Most of the people right now sitting in this classroom were born during that period. Most of the people, that is what I'm saying. Most of the people were born during that period. And it was that time they started gaining information, knowledge about the world. They started understanding surroundings. They started understanding people, including Gandhi. So here is my story of how I have understood Gandhi, starting from 1989 till 2010. So it all began with a general knowledge question. When I was 5 years old, I marked up a general knowledge question. Who is the father of our nation? And the answer was Mahatma Gandhi. Then I saw the photo in the currency note and I asked my dad, who is this person? And he said, Beta, it's Gandhi. Next, on 2nd of October, I came to know that it was his birthday, and a good thing. Why? It was a holiday. Fantastic. Then, some Hindi and English texts in 3rd or 4th standard, I came to know that he was a fan of Raja Harishchandra and Shravan Kumar. Then, History of Indian Freedom Struggle came in class 8 when we started to know about Indian National Congress and other similar things. I know certain more things about Gandhi because I belong to a classical 20th century family. And why do I say I belong to a classical 20th century family? It's because I used to watch Doordarshan. And if you have seen Doordarshan, you might remember that on the television screen at one time of the day or the other, you would get a screen, you will get a thought, and under there you would find name Dayanand Saraswati, Swami Vivekananda, or Mahatma Gandhi. You might also recall the song Ishwar Allah Tere Jahan Mein, which would be sung, and in the background you could see Sabarmati Ashram. And the most recent encounter when we were introduced to the term of Gandhigiri through our most lovable characters, Munna and Sarkiteshwar. Most of us tend to believe that we know all about Gandhi. And I believe this is the background which most of you also possess. And with this background, we think we know Gandhi. We know him, but we have never thought about his methods. And to me, who is Gandhi? Gandhi is not a person. Gandhi is a thought. Gandhi is a method. And that is something we should think about. We should think about his methodologies. That is something really important. That is something I did when I read his autobiography, The Story of My Experiments with Truth. One of my objectives of giving this presentation is to motivate you all to pick up this autobiography and start reading this. Because this is something really enlightening. He was a very frank person. And why not? He was a follower of truth. When you are a follower of truth, you have to be frank. And whenever he would not agree with the point of view of any person, he would say, with respect, I disagree. And then he would start up with a rational argument, which was quite necessary, and which is necessary. But nowadays, we do not do that thing. That leads to this another concept, an advanced concept called non-violence or ahimsa. Before I move on, I would like to ask you, what do you understand by non-violence, ahimsa? Anyone?
Not being violent.
Not being violent, exactly. But, yeah. Tolerance, okay.
Understanding the importance of soul force and recognizing the destruction that brutal force can cause.
Okay, alright. Anyone else?
Peace and brotherhood.
Peace and brotherhood. All of you are correct, and that is right. What I would like to point out is, most of us tend to think that violence is something physical. I would like to tell you violence is not just physical, it's mental and psychological as well. How? If someone is verbally abusing you, he's committing a mental violence. If you do something wrong and your mother stops talking to you, that's a psychological violence. And Gandhi told us that you must get rid of all kinds of violences because that is necessary to achieve great success. This is quite clear from his excerpt. He writes to a British general and he tells him that, listen sir, please try to step in our shoes and see what wrong you are doing to our country. He's saying, my ambition is no less than to convert the British people through non-violence and thus make them see the wrong they have done to India.
Where is this from?
It's from the book, Louis Fisher's book. I mentioned it. But the problem is, even after the fact that Gandhiji preached non-violence in this country, we do not follow non-violence. What can be the possible reasons? I believe education and society are some of the reasons. You might recall from your childhood the story, Siyar aur Bagule ki kahani, the story of the heron and the wolf. And if you remember the moral of the story was, Jaise ka taisa, tit for tat. You're telling this story to a 5-year-old kid. You're telling him that, listen kid, someone does something wrong to you, you have the right to do wrong to him. You're sowing the seeds of revenge at that particular tender age. How does he not follow violence? In the later stage of his life, he watches movies which justify his revenge. So it is quite obvious that non-violence becomes a counterintuitive idea. And that is why we do not follow non-violence. Non-violence, we say, come on, it's crap, it's not useful. In this regard, I would also like to say that armies are the most useless expenditure in the world. Why? Because they only create miseries and sufferings. Only one thing they do good is that in the times of famines, droughts or some other natural calamities, they help rescue people. That is the only good thing they do. Otherwise, they do not do any good to the society. And here I am referring to the world as a society. Not an Indian society, not a Pakistani society, not the society of the United Nations or United States. Armies themselves suffer from a lot of problems. If you've seen the movie Green Zone, it tells us how a soldier is a robot. US Army invades Iraq in search of WMDs, which are never found. In the Valley of Ila tells a story of a soldier who is under post-traumatic stress disorder, under which he kills his own fellow soldier, and the body of that soldier is hidden by the army themselves because they cannot let that one single incident disgrace the entire reputation of army. Shaurya has something similar to offer with India, Kashmir as the background. And if you want to know true horrific realities of wars, you must go and check out WikiLeaks. Even the soldiers themselves, they are not happy. Why do I say that? You might not believe me, but I hope you will believe in figures. In the past 9 years, there have been 108,000 US Army retired soldiers who have committed suicide. 9 years, 108,000 soldiers. It's no small number. It's no small number. Why did they do that? That is a question which arises. Because each moment they were alive, they regretted the moment they had killed someone. Because killing someone takes a great deal of pain, great deals of energy from you inside. And each moment they felt, why? Why did I choose army? Why did I kill someone? They could not bear it, and that is why they ended their life. And thus, I would like to conclude that armies across the world should be removed. They should not exist. Sounds like a utopia. But isn't that all of us are striving for? His next principle is truth. If you ask someone, if you tell someone today that we should speak the truth, he would say, come on, it's practical world. We have to do business, we have to do this thing, that thing. How can we do just with truth? We have to lie. This is a world where liars win. Something similar used to happen in the times of Gandhiji also. Even today, there are merchant friends who contend that truth is inconsistent with business. Business, they say, is a very practical affair, and truth is a matter of religion. Even his friends who were lawyers, they used to tell him, come on now, you are a lawyer, you have to lie. But he never lied. He was successful as a lawyer, and he was very successful in his public life. In this regard, Lage Raho Munna Bhai and Rocket Singh were two real eye-openers. About education, he has always said, literary training is important, but what is more important is to develop the spirit. Because to develop the spirit is to build character. And here I would like to quote one of our professors who says, India no longer needs Indian institutes of technology. India needs Indian institutes of character development. Lastly, Sarvodaya. Sarvodaya means universal uplift and progress of all. And this has been the dream of Gandhiji. Unfortunately, even after 60 years of independence, this has not been fulfilled completely. And that is why we need to abolish practices such as untouchability and child marriage. We need to educate masses. We need to provide them employment opportunities, and we need to uplift women. We need to follow the principles of Professor Amartya Sen and Professor C.K. Prahalad. And at least as educated people, I urge you that we should all at least think something about the other India. We are really interested in movies and cricket, but we should also think about the villages around our campus. In the end, a message from Gandhi ji himself.
आप सोच रहे थे मेरा क्या? भाई मुझे तो बरसों पहले मार दिया था। पर मेरे विचार 3 गोलियों से नहीं मरने वाले। ज़माने बदलते रहे, पर मेरे विचार किसी न किसी भेजे में केमिकल उर्जा करके रहेंगे। अब आपकी मर्जी है। चाहो तो मुझे तस्वीर बना के दीवार पे लटका दो, या मेरे विचारों पे विचार करो।
मुझे उम्मीद है आप सभी गांधी जी के विचारों पे विचार करेंगे। थैंक यू।